I had only 24 hours to find a husband. Then he just stood me up. Never imagined I would say this out loud, but I needed a husband by tomorrow. It wasn't for a fairy tale wedding or some grand romantic plan. It was because life had suddenly pushed me into a corner. My family was under pressure, relatives were asking questions, and a decision had to be made fast. Too fast. I had always believed marriage should come with time, trust, and understanding. But now, I had only 24 hours. That night, I couldn't sleep. My phone screen kept lighting up with messages from family, friends, and even people I barely knew. Suggestions, advice, and endless opinions. Everyone had something to say, but no one understood how heavy my heart felt. Then, his message appeared. It was simple. Don't panic. I'm here. We had known each other for a while, not deeply, not romantically, but enough to respect each other. He was calm, responsible, and always spoke with kindness. In that moment, his words felt like a lifeline. We talked for hours. Not about love, not about dreams, but about reality. About commitment, responsibility, and whether two people could take such a big step on such short notice. He didn't promise perfection. He didn't try to impress me. He just listened. And somehow, that made me trust him. By morning, the decision was almost made. Families were informed. Plans started forming quickly. It all felt unreal, like I was watching someone else's life instead of living my own. But deep inside, I kept asking myself one question. Was this right, or was I just afraid of saying no? The next day moved faster than I thought possible. Calls, preparations, arrangements, everything happening at once. My mind was spinning, but I kept going. I told myself to stay strong. To believe that maybe, just maybe, this sudden turn of events was leading me somewhere better. He said he would be there. He said he wouldn't let me face this alone. And I believed him. Hours passed. People gathered. The atmosphere grew tense. Every minute felt heavier than the last. I kept looking at the entrance, waiting. Then the whispers started. Has he arrived? Is he on the way? Did something happen? My heart began to race. I checked my phone again and again. No messages. No calls. Nothing. Time was slipping away. I tried to stay calm, telling myself there must be a reason. Maybe traffic. Maybe a problem at home. Maybe just a delay. But deep down, a quiet fear started to grow, the kind you can't explain, only feel. And then, someone walked in, slightly out of breath, eyes searching the room. For a moment, everything went silent. Because the next thing that happened, changed everything. The room fell silent as he stepped inside. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. My eyes locked on him, searching for answers before he even spoke. He looked tired, stressed, but determined. As he walked closer, people around us began whispering, some relieved, some confused. "I'm sorry I'm late," he said, his voice steady but heavy. There was something I had to do first. My heart was still racing. Part of me wanted to be angry. Part of me wanted to cry. And another part, just felt relief that he had actually come. What happened? I finally asked. He paused for a second, then replied, I didn't want to walk into this decision unless I was completely sure. This isn't a small step. It's a lifetime. I needed to be certain I wasn't doing this out of pressure, but out of responsibility and respect for you. His words hit deeper than I expected. He wasn't late because he didn't care. He was late because he cared too much to treat this like a rushed agreement. He explained how he had spoken to his parents, taken their blessing, and thought about the reality of marriage, not the celebration, not the social expectations, but the everyday commitment. He didn't want to promise something he couldn't keep. "I won't say I'm perfect," he added. "But if we do this, I'll stand by you. Not just today, but every day after." Something inside me softened. All night, I had been afraid of being abandoned, judged, or making the wrong choice. But standing there, I realized something important. This wasn't about finding a husband in one day. It was about finding someone willing to stand beside me when things weren't easy. And he had shown up. Not perfectly. Not dramatically. But honestly. The tension in the room slowly turned into calm. Families began talking again, arrangements continued, and the chaos of the day found its direction. It still felt unreal, like life had changed in a single breath. Later, when things finally settled, I asked him quietly, "Were you ever scared?" He smiled a little. "Of course. But sometimes life doesn't give us time to prepare. It just gives us a moment, and asks us to be brave." That moment stayed with me. I realized I wasn't being saved. I wasn't being forced. I was stepping into a decision with open eyes, and so was he. By the end of the day, nothing felt rushed anymore. Yes, everything had happened quickly, but the understanding between us felt steady. Not based on romance or grand promises, but on respect, honesty, and courage. And that was stronger than anything else. I needed a husband by tomorrow. But what I found was not just a man who showed up. I found someone who chose to stay.